This conference will now be
Katie, are we recording?
Yeah, we should be.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today on the Clean Network weekly telecon. We've been doing these pretty much weekly since sometime in 2008. Pretty impressive record. So today we'll be discussing some coordinating opportunities at the upcoming NSTA National Conference in St. Louis. Before we get into that, we do have some space and time for announcements. And unusually, I am going to make a first announcement. As you see on the screen, for those of you who didn't know Max was tragically one of the members of the UN community that passed away on the Ethiopia flight that was back on March 10th. And so he was a huge champion for our work and a partner, and a lot of us were deeply impacted by his loss. Some of us have been trying to figure out, now that has happened, is there something we should do in response to that, something to honor his brilliant work. So anyway, I don't mean to start our conversation on that tone, but I think it's the right thing to do. So if there's anybody beyond us who want to explore some way of honoring his memory and his passion and talent, I'm more than happy to explore that with you. So sorry to start on that note. Any initial thoughts on that, or do we want to move on to other announcements? All right, let's go to other announcements. So, any other announcements?
Yeah, I have one. This is Katie Boyd. We're still doing our Clean webinar series, which I've been announcing the last couple weeks, but we actually have a special webinar that we're doing next week on the National Climate Assessment new report. We have David Easterling from NOAA NCEI presenting for us, and then Anna and Frank and I are going to help bring that into the context of how can you teach us in the classroom, how can you use resources from Clean to do that, and stuff like that. So it's pretty exciting. That'll be next week. I think it's Wednesday, March 20th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to send out that to the listserv a little later today, and if you guys could help share that around with your network since it's coming up, we'd really appreciate it.
And Katie, those will be recorded as usual?
Yes.
But we're using Zoom this time, right?
We are using Zoom, and it will be recorded and then placed onto the webinar website. So I'll put that into the chat, because that's also where you can register for this. So that will help with both of those. And that'll be where you can find the recording as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other, there you go, Katie. Thank you for the link. Other announcements for the network.
Hi, this is Lynn. I wanted to invite everybody who's going to be in DC on March 28th to the Youth Summit that's going to be at the Capitol. It's a Youth Climate Summit. I don't know if you've heard about it. Park Guthrie from the group that's been having all these school boards sign the resolutions for doing something about climate change. Are you familiar with that group? Anybody?
I believe so.
Anyway,
yeah. I know a little bit about it.
So Young Voices for the Planet is co-sponsoring this event, and we have a full day of activities, and I should send it to the Clean Network, send it out, an invitation out to the Clean Network. But we got Sheldon Whitehouse speaking on a panel, and some other Congress people, and a lot of young people from the different climate change groups. So I hope you'll come if you're around.
Thank you, Lynn. Questions or any feedbacks on that? Lynn, would you mind posting the link to that in the chat window, if possible?
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
not online right now, but I'll do it later.
I'll just send it through the email. That's fine. That's fine. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other announcements?
I believe the youth climate strike is Friday, isn't it?
15th. Yeah.
Yep. It's on Friday.
Great.
What's on Friday?
The youth climate strike.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Is there anything?
Yeah.
Sorry. Is there anything online about that, Don?
There is. I will find it and post it.
That'd be great.
There's a lot of, they'll map out, like locally here in Minnesota and Rochester and the cities, and I believe Duluth, there's a big turnout. But they're working with local partners to turn out youth.
Fantastic. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kristen.
Things going on in Western New York too. Unfortunately, I will be in Minnesota at the NAGT meeting. So.
Unfortunately, Don, you're coming to Minnesota on Friday? Where's NAG?
It'll be at Carleton College.
I don't think we had that on our radar.
Yeah, well, this is the committee meeting. So.
Oh, committee meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have fun down there. I'm an Ole, so it's okay that you're going to Carleton, but just wave at St. Olaf there.
Kristen, do you want to let everybody know about the new curriculum that you guys released?
Sure. We released a new curriculum. So this is Kristen Poppleton from Climate Generation, and we are just released our first of 2 modules of humanities-based curriculum resource. This centering around books. This first one is centered around The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. This second one that's coming out next month centers around The Long Walk to Water. And they were co-developed with Natalie Stapert, who is a teacher at the Lowell School in DC. And we will be featuring these resources at our Summer Institute in DC in August. And they're free to download from our They're free to download from our website. You can check them out. I will put a link there. But they are for humanities classrooms.
Awesome.
I appreciate that you've done that, Kristen, and your focus on the humanities. It's put a challenge into the clean community on the ones who work on the clean collection, because we don't know how to index it. So I love the fact that you guys have pushed us into new structural challenges. We always love a challenge.
Yeah, and we're overdue on that one.
Yeah, well, now we're starting to have.
Well, and it's one. Right. And I mean, I would argue, I've always argued this about our resources. They're really more effective as a whole, not as little activities. And this one especially means nothing if we break it into lessons. So it isn't, at this point, the clean collection is not set up for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So just so you know, I mean, I can announce something that NOAA funded. They funded something, if I don't remember, the Trace Catalog, which was a federal index of all the grants and their projects. And so we're talking
I am
about.
not totally sure, but probably.
Somebody could mute. That'd be great.
I really don't know.
I think she'll be here.
We're having a side conversation. All of us are
I
having.
can open this. Hold on. Caller 3.
Katie, are you able to mute everybody?
Yep. I got it.
The global solution. Anyway, the one thing that it affords us, Clean is supporting the kind of a community version of that, and we're in development right now. What that'll afford us down the road is to actually kind of index projects at a higher level than the Clean collection currently indexes. So hopefully that will be a solution for us down the road for the exact thing you're describing, Kristen. But
I'm sorry,
yes.
I got distracted by the other noise there and
Yeah.
lost track of the beginning of what you were saying. So can you?
Sure.
A little bit. Sorry about that.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that the trace catalog, which is the collection of the tri-agency climate change resources, Clean is using its technology with Carleton College to figure out a way to do that. And down the road, it'll afford us the ability to index projects as opposed to individual learning lessons that are sometimes split up from projects.
Yeah. And the teacher-friendly guide does not really fit in Clean's system very well.
Exactly. So. Yep. So we're trying to find a new structure that complements the collection, but it would afford us the ability to index projects in a better way than currently we've struggled over the years to do. So anyway.
Yeah, that would be an interesting topic for a future call and brainstorming how to approach some of that. I mean, I actually think it's a pretty important and difficult problem that the structure of Clean collection of activities when we really need a more holistic approach, which is kind of what Chris was saying just a minute ago too, I think.
Yep.
And I think
Agreed.
there's still a lot of this is Anna chiming in on the trace catalog. I think there's a lot of discussion still on how to tag different products from each of these efforts, because that would be clearly very useful to have these resources tagged. But yes, a call I think is a great idea to show a prototype.
Don, can you text Eric Pyle or email him the contact information for joining us today?
Yep.
That's awesome. He's asking, and I can't get there because I'm sharing my screen. So thank you. Any other announcements?
Eric,
this is Lynn.
Looks like.
This is Lynn again, and I wanted to mention that we had the second of our civic engagement and democracy workshops educator workshops in Pittsburgh. It was just great on Saturday. We have 4 more coming up. If anybody knows any educators in Pittsburgh or has ideas of how we can better get these publicized, because they're about climate change, environment, and civic engagement and democracy, please let me know.
Thank you, Lynn. It might be good to post that request in the Clean community, because I would imagine there are lots of us who have extended, from the people who are on the call today, connections that might be.
Okay, thanks.
Any others? Today's a busy day. Lots going on. That's good. All right. Hearing one last chance. All right. Let's explore the topic of the day. I'm facilitating myself today. So we thought, given NSTA is coming up in a couple weeks, basically a month, that there was, due to the topics that are coming up. Sure, there we go. That's that. Here we go. So with NSTA coming up in about a month, a little under a month, with the position statement on teaching climate that came out of NSTA, and a group of us who are on the call today were part of that. Eric Pyle, you're on the line. Can you just say hello?
Hello.
There you are. Thank you very much. You made it. So you and I and Don were all part of that. I don't know if anybody else was on the call today was part of that, but that was a lot of work. Took a long time. It got passed. It is now an official position statement of NSTA, but the next step that could have been there would have been a more focused effort at the conferences to support the hard work of implementing that position statement. That didn't really happen this year, and we may have an opportunity in the future in the regionals and the next national. Eric, where is the next national again? Do I remember Boston?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. But like I say, like you and I spoke about, I mean, the lead time for some of the things with the program in general is about a year in advance. And, any proposal that would need to go in for next year's national will basically need to go in by the 1st of May, if not sooner. I mean, it's like right after the annual meeting. So,
right.
And I think the regional ones this fall, the deadline was back in January. So that's normally how it works.
So I think one thing just for us to conjure is, while we're thinking about what to do and how to make as much opportunity with this year's NSTA, that's part of the point of this call. But also beyond that, the point you just put forth about the next one in Boston. I mean, Boston is a hub of climate change education that is quite robust. There's a lot of great work that's going on there. So there's an opportunity for us to turn our focus to planning for the next national meeting out of this conversation, not just doing the best we can with this year. So just putting it out there for the topics of the day.
So if I could,
please.
Oh, I just wanted to add a couple of ins and outs on that then too. I mean, at the Charlotte meeting, I was able to give a presentation on the position statement because it was a backdoor connection because NSTA basically promoting its own work. They could set it up, and it was a small room at the very end of a hallway in the hotel that was across the street from the convention center. Which you'd think would not be good, and the room was full. So there is definitely interest in this. I would say, though, looking forward in terms of writing proposals, there's some ins and outs about what you can, what helps get you on the program. And at the appropriate time, we can talk about that, or I can talk about it now. But there are some ways that we can coordinate efforts and collude that don't necessarily look like we are colluding, and to make sure the maximum number of presentations get on the program.
And I think one follow-up action from this call is for those who want to participate and feel organizationally aligned to that purpose to collaborate beyond this call. That seems natural and appropriate. So I think one thing I'm taking note on as we move this forward is if you want to be participating in that, then please raise your hand toward the end of this call, and that'll be a follow-up action. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do that, unless somebody here now says that's a bad idea.
That's a good idea.
The motion is carried.
I'm going to put my interests in this chat box, and maybe that will be a way for you to collect them.
All right, there you go. Like it. Thank you, Tamara. You're one of the people that I'm thinking about when we go to Boston. Absolutely, right. But there's a whole cast of wonderful characters in Boston that could be part of this. So So when I did my analysis for this year's NSTA, so this is the opportunity we have before us right now. These are the names of people that I know from our community that are going to be there, and many of them are on this call. Each of them are doing different pieces of the work, but that's just my analysis. And there's more sessions. These are more organic sessions that teachers are putting forth that are related. So if you use the keyword search, you can find them. One surprise in my process was the Earth Vision films. Caroline, are you with us today? And Olivia, are you also with us? You may be on mute.
Yes, I am.
Who's that? Is that you, Olivia?
I'm here, and I'm only on for a couple of more minutes.
So, Olivia, would you mind? I'm just going to go way out of order. How much more time do you have with us?
I have about 5 minutes.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. When I started this, I found that Earth Vision Films, James Balog's initiative, I don't know if that's a fair way of saying it, Olivia.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's interesting. You're at NSTA. So then through a conversation she and I had, we found out that actually you have a new initiative and you have a room and an events, and James Balog is going to be there. And so Olivia, just for the group of us, would you mind before you leave just describing what you're doing and what your opportunities are? See if we can collaborate.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Olivia Oneman, and I'm a documentary film producer and have been working for the last 3 years on a film called The Human Element, which stars James Balog. And as part of the film, we have a robust outreach, impact, and education campaign. So we're going to be at NSTA doing a film screening on Friday afternoon at 1:30. To have the opportunity to screen the film, we had to commit to having a booth and to be an exhibitor. So we will have a booth on the floor of the convention, and James Balog will be there for 2 days, for Thursday and Friday. So we're there to really present our film and also to announce to science educators that we are providing the film with accompanying lesson plans for them to use in their classrooms to help teach climate change. And we also have another online climate resource called Getting the Picture. So we're there really as a way to have some visibility and to let teachers know that these resources are there for them pro bono, and to really encourage and have conversations around using film as a medium to teach climate change in the classroom.
Fantastic. So I moved forward to, since you're only with us for a little bit of time, that event is there. It's in this session. Part of the reason why I didn't see it was because the title didn't pull it up that way, the way I was searching. So I'm loving this serendipity. But the spirit of why we're talking today is there an opportunity for us, those who are leading climate-related education initiatives, programs, to cross-promote each other, to make sure that teachers are getting the maximum benefit of us being at NSTA as possible. That's really the spirit of this conversation. And thank you, Olivia, for doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful spirit, and just please know everybody on the call that we at Earth Vision Institute and with the film The Human Element, we are really motivated around climate education, and we are happy to collaborate and coordinate on anything at NSTA, in the lead up to it and during the conference. So please keep us in mind for getting Jim on any panel discussions. We can talk about how the Q&A at the end of our film might work and how we may want to include anyone from the climate science community who would like to participate in that. So we're open to all sorts of ideas. And thank you so much, Frank, for including us in this. Sure,
absolutely. And I think right after this call, unless there's that on this slide where it says others, like Wendy, I noticed I didn't see you in the exhibitor space, so that's why I was looking for you, but I didn't see you. So Wendy, thank you for letting us be known that AMS Education will be there.
That's strange.
Yeah, I thought it was strange too. You might want to look into that. Unless I'm missing it, you weren't listed as an exhibitor.
Frank?
So, yes.
This is Eric. Perhaps you've already considered this. You had that map slide that had the locations
Yes.
of all those things, and I'm wondering if with that on one side of the paper and you had the listing of presentations on another side, that could be if you made that available electronically, I'd make copies and pass them out in my presentation, just so we're if there are these things that you might enjoy this, have it already written down instead of having them try to write it down as quickly as they could. Here's your cheat sheet.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and maybe we could each of us with a booth could write a sentence or two about what we're doing climate change wise, because it'd be nice. That'd be a great opportunity to publicize the teacher-friendly guide to climate change.
Exactly. I mean, that you guys are getting the spirit. I'm glad to see that. That was the I thought of something like that. One other piece of that we could do is Katie, since you're on the call, if we wanted to have a page on the Clean website where we just put all this information, so all you have to do is go to one link, as opposed to something like that. That's another way of doing that. There's actually quite a bit. So if you scroll through the slide, should have access to these slides. You'll see there's quite a bit of sessions, and these are not all of them. So if there's something missing, like Wendy, if you have an exhibitor workshop that I didn't catch, please add it. If you can't add it, send it to me and I'll add it. But I'm looking for whether or not.
Frank, just so you know, when I tried to get to your slide, it said I needed permission, so I couldn't see
I
your
gave you
slides.
permission.
Okay, well, that's good, but others might not have it now, so that's why.
Sure, no, I understand. Anybody can ask permission if they can't get access to it. I wasn't sure how the slides were posted. Sometimes they're posted as PDFs. So either way, I'll get you everybody access. But the spirit of this is to get you as many related sessions that are in the ecosystem, and then which exhibitors are also related, because we want to build a little bit more coherence. Kind of like NGSS is all about coherence. Well, this is also about coherence, so people don't miss wonderful opportunities if they're so inclined. So I love the idea, Eric. And so, I mean, these are some of the resources. So Jessica, you're with us today, is that right? You may be muted. I saw you in the list.
I'm here. Sorry. Yes,
okay.
I was muted.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to be promoting the Understanding Global Change framework and associated resources at NSTA. Is that right?
Yes, I'll be running a joint workshop with Howard Hughes Medical Institute Biointeractive, and we'll be presenting the interactive, the Understanding Global Change framework, and how to use Earth system modeling in curricula. So really looking forward to presenting it there, but also connecting it to all of these other resources that are offered by our partners and collaborators. So yeah, any way that we can share or direct people to other places to then get content, we would be happy to do that within our session. So
right. So one idea that we had, Rebecca Anderson from ACE, who couldn't be here with us today, and she worked with somebody else. I don't remember. Katie, do you remember who she worked with to make this slide?
Me.
It was you.
Katie. I think she worked with Katie.
Yeah.
Hey, Katie. I mean, there's so many things I can't remember everything.
I know.
Sorry.
Nope, totally fine.
So, I mean, the intent of this was to have something that you could put in anybody's presentation that would connect people to a wider initiative, in this case, Clean. This something like this, if we wanted to make a slide that we could slide into at the end or right after the title slide, however you want to use it. It's not a lot of work to make this, but if all those presenting wanted to connect us, say, to that page on Clean that says, here's everything in NSTA this year, I think we've done this at like AGU and NAAWE in the past. Tamara, do you remember? Didn't we used to do that?
Oh yeah, we did it for NAAWE. We made a one pager that we handed out. So yes, so we had a list. It wasn't online. It was just a physical sheet that we handed out. All
Okay.
the sessions.
Okay. So, I mean, I think, us making a slide, whether that connects to a web page that then connects to a one pager, it's not a lot of work to put these things together. So
it was
I
more,
think
the reason it was more helpful at NAAWE than AGU. AGU, we talked about having all the sessions start with the words climate literacy, so it was easy for people to find it. Whereas at NAAWE, and in this case NSTA, the names are not as easily searchable as a group.
Right. Exactly. So I think what do you guys think about a slide for connecting all these efforts? If you're on Thursday and you're helping people find the right resources, or do you think that's not necessary? What are those what do you guys think?
I think
This is Jessica again. I think that would be great. I also think adding a few words about what some of the sessions might provide. Like I'm going to be primarily working with high school teachers. So if there are particular sessions that we think we should be driving them to following our session, or, providing a little more information about that would be wonderful. So.
Gotcha. Oh, I wasn't thinking about this exact slide. I was thinking more the intent of it. We would have to create a more purposeful version of this. So, do others support this idea or have concerns, or what do others think?
This is Mark Chandler.
Hey, Mark.
Hi. Our session is, I believe, like the first thing on Thursday morning, so we're like running ahead of everyone else, and therefore, if we do a little advertising, with either a slide or have a handout of sessions in it, at our session, it would catch everybody else's. So.
Yep. So I've up on the slides here is what's what I've pulled out of what I know that's in the sessions, not the exhibitor workshops. I mean, the exhibitor booths. And I mean, if you're seeing something that I missed, we'd love to know it, because I've already kind of done some of the analysis. But Mark, you're exactly right. So would you guys be willing to slide a slide in that kind of promotes this our own thread of efforts?
Yeah, I guess I'm speaking for my group here, and I'm not really the lead, but I don't see any problem with that. I think it's a good idea to connect as many of these things together as possible at this meeting. So. Right.
Yeah. So I'm speaking in the second one, and Joe Levine, I know he had some conflicts here today, but Jessica, you work with him a ton. Do you think he'd be willing to do that?
I definitely think he would be, and I can speak with him before the meeting as well. So.
Great. So I mean, these are the events. So I don't know, Eric, if you're still with us, Don and I are joining you on the 12:30 NSTA position statement talk. Maybe we could do it there. Just saying. Now, what's also interesting is that there are sessions that are really interesting, but really aren't part of our community. So kind of the back to the clean slide, part of the clean slide was to start growing the community. So I don't know if we want to put two. That's chewing into people's precious time, but that was really the intent of the clean slide. Katie, could I work with you, given that you worked with Reb last time, with all due humility?
Yeah, and Anna pointed out we have students that can help with like going through some of the activities and trying to collect them and things like that too. So yeah, let's talk about this and what needs to happen, and we can make it happen.
I love it. So, I'm just gonna, into Friday, there's some really wonderful events. The James Baylog one at 1:30 on Friday is a long event. and James, in some ways, is you know, as a we didn't really get a keynote this year. Caroline or Olivia, if you're still here, do you know if Jim is going to be actually speaking during that time? I don't know if you guys are still with us. We may have lost them. Okay, so
Caroline says she is
oh,
in the chat.
oh, you're here, Caroline. Do you know? Can you unmute her?
Oh, it says, this is weird. It says send audio pin to enable muting. I've never seen that, but I sent it.
Okay.
I didn't mute her I muted caller 3, and I
All
can
right.
unmute, but.
Maybe. She is caller 3.
You are caller 3, yes, sorry. Okay, that's why. 'Cause you showed up twice, I think, because you're on the call and then also in the systems. You should be unmuted now, Caroline. Sorry about that.
Thank you, and sorry for the confusion and for the mute situation a couple minutes ago. But
It's
yes,
all right.
so Jim and Olivia both will be there for a Q&A following the film, but they won't be giving a keynote or anything, but we'll be doing a raffle and just a panel discussion with the two of them after the screening.
Gotcha. Perfect. So, you know, I think that this is the kind of the thrust of this. You guys are I think, I'll just scroll through the end of the Saturday. This kind of what we're doing is building, as many of you know, that Saturday and definitely Sunday attendance starts getting thinner and thinner. So Margie's 2 o'clock on Saturday is going to be, and then the last one I found that was related was this one that I don't know, Patricia, but this was an interesting session. But you know, 8:30 on Sunday is going to be a hard session. So
I do know Patricia a little.
You do? Okay, cool. That's a hard slot she got by accident.
I know her, but I am afraid that I will already be on the road by the time for the session.
Right. It's very common to have very low attendance on Sunday. So, but still, you know, I think maybe the asks for us is if you know of a related session or exhibitor that is not currently in the radar screen in this presentation, please either email me or add them to the slides, or you know, however you want to do it. And then Katie, you and I can work together on you know, how would we make some materials for the people that are here to kind of connect the dots a little bit more effectively during the event.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Katie?
Yeah.
Perfect. So now we're in the open floor mode. What else? What else needs to be talked about in this? Is there any other ideas that weren't talked about here that we need to explore?
So
yeah, Frank,
go
ahead.
I'll make it quick. I threw in our booth number and where we're engaging in the chat. If I need to go edit slides, I guess I don't know.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it right here.
Okay, so I would just love, I mean, we were gonna have an oral, and my main person that was supposed to handle it had to back out, and we had no capacity to backfill. So we'll just have the exhibit hall booth and the 2 share-a-thons, and then the Friends of Earth reception, which everyone on this call would be invited to that reception if you're still there on Saturday night. Friends of Earth Science teachers.
You know, I mean, is that something they would want to promote widely?
NSTA promotes it, and it's one of those double-edged swords, right? Like, we want it to be a vibrant reception, and yet if everyone that was in NSTA National came, it would be completely overwhelmed in terms of the space and the food and drink budget. So I don't know how to play that. Ask Carla.
Okay, thank you.
They do promote it. We're one of the co-sponsors, but they don't try to tell the whole darn world.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I don't know if we're going to be that ambitious in this conversation, but you know, maybe we will, at least in our community. Hopefully, we grow that.
Yeah.
Others.
Yep. I was wondering if anyone knows of any sessions that are devoted to the psychology of teaching climate change
Great
Uh,
at
question.
NSTA?
Well, I mean, you have access to all the ones I saw. There's this one that Patricia put forth that, if I remember right, is the closest, using socio-scientific issues-based approaches and teaching NGSS and high school biology. But that's a little more narrow than I think what you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, if anyone's interested in putting together a panel on looking at the psychology of teaching climate change for the next NSTA, I'd be very interested in talking to anyone.
Also, I would encourage you, Lynn. Yes, I heard you. But the science denial, why it's increasing, what can we do about it? That Joe Levine is doing on Friday at 12:30. I mean, I think he would be somebody that would be interested in that. Jessica, do you agree?
Yeah, yes, I totally agree. And I think this could be, something that we think about, running sessions on in the future collectively. I think that would be a really great topic if we all sort of brought the tools that we use to the table, and had, even some sort of small working group or a special session with teachers that they signed up for in advance, on, how do they really address these issues in their classroom?
Right. One of the things is we're talking
And do
about
it
future.
effectively, and what are all the tools, and what else do teachers need?
There's a backdoor tool that we can use, the exhibitor workshops. Now you pay for them, but you don't have to. They tend to be closer to the exhibit hall, and you can stack them up in a series of the day. Climate Stewards showed us the way on this, and you can get a whole series of sessions that you coordinate, and you just pay. I don't remember what it is per session, but
I think it's a couple $1,000, so it's not cheap.
Is it that much?
Oh wow.
I know it's
Maybe.
not. I remember we looked at it in the past and said, "Whoa."
I thought it was a lot less than that.
I don't.
That's not going to cut it.
Yeah,
but
we can. But my recollection is that it was very pricey.
Gotcha. All right. Well, maybe you were looking at a series of them. That seems high. But anyway, but I'm just saying, for those of you who don't know, you can actually buy a session and they get preferentially located. So if attendance, sometimes you can do a lot of work through a voluntary one and get 3 people, and that can be really hard. So, okay. Any other things we need to talk about for this?
A question?
Yes, question?
Yeah. So, and Jim Callahan. So, Frank, thank you so much for putting together this. This is a step that saves so much time on looking at everything that's kind of related that we can find in NSTA. Very valuable. As you all have looked at this a little bit more than me, and I'm more just taking it all in. Looking from the point of view of being able to represent what we as a community can do, that's hands-on, that's investigations, that's lab experiments. I'm looking for things to do. Do we have a way of kind of summarizing that? Yes, this is something that we can handle very strongly. It tends to be, I guess, in the share-a-thons is one angle it does, and I see it. Of course, that's not just climate, but energy, STEM engineering, and so on. Is the share-a-thons the main place that we have that being represented? Or anyway, I'm kind of looking for that's one angle that teachers in STA look at a subject. How well are you handling? Do you have a hands-on component? Can you handle that well?
So Jim, a couple things is I don't imagine a group of us on the call are going to be attending the share-a-thon, and we can share whatever we have in front of us, right? So if you need a representative for you I'm assuming you're not going to be at NSTA.
No, not going to be there. But always want the attitude of exactly your spirit of what can we all do to help the bigger picture.
Right.
How
So
a big community.
Yep. So I think if there's somebody here on the call that you want to work with to promote a resource through somebody else, so that we have some efficiency for the community, that's one way to do that. I think also, Jim, the climate and energy toolbox for teaching climate and energy. The whole point of that was to kind of build a kind of a consortium approach. As you know, it's crude and but it is a way to promote those resources. So if you see something that where you want to put your resources in there, we're trying to make an easier front door. So that's another way to do that, and I will be promoting that at NSTA, both in the NOAA booth and in all the share-a-thons.
Oh, great, thank you. And it's in addition to that is the angle of what others are doing that are in that angle. You know, that we can know. Okay, these folks tend to be at NSTAs. So we have some representation at a share-a-thon actually doing hands-on things, which I want the answer to be yes. That's
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, so I
that more
put up
carefully.
a slide where we have known members who are going to be there, and there they are. So you know, you can engage them where it makes the most sense for you.
Great, thank you, and mutually and be supportive of, you know, that, because we need many doing this. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't. None of us can do it all.
Frank?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go to class here in just a second, but did we want to talk at all about the pitch I proposed for getting a keynote for next year, or is that something you want to handle separately?
No, I think what I'm appreciating about this is that in the past, the Clean Network has spent a lot of time coordinating the AGU work, and I think to some degree GSA, and to some lesser degree I think NAAEE. I think what now perhaps is that, you know, a more coordinated strategy for NSTA would be appropriate. So I think, you know, trying to target keynotes for future events would be right in line with that. So I think probably my gut feeling is, Eric, there's going to be a subgroup of us who are going to want to really focus on that. That's how it works at AGU. So
Okay.
I think, you know, I would probably be, it's open and inclusive, but you know, more focused.
Okay,
So
that's fine. No, I was just thinking in terms of the overall strategy and the timing. That is, you know, we just discussed, if you had a list of, you know, potential speakers along the lines that you and I had discussed, ready by mid-June, it could be put in the hands of the people that were organizing the future conferences.
Yep. So like, you know, like Kristen, your work with Ben Santer, for example. I mean, you've relied on Ben in the past very strongly as part of your work at Climate Generation. I imagine all of us have different people that we've worked with who would be good candidates for that kind of an opportunity. So I'd like the idea of a community approach to that. Just because, you know, you want to have the right person who has the right expertise and the right background, but also is effective engaging teachers simultaneously. So does that feel, I think that smaller group that we were talking about is the right group to focus on all those type of activities. So Eric, I don't want to keep you from your class.
Oh.
Class you took going to teach?
It's contemporary issues in the geosciences, so it's a capstone.
So I miss teaching.
All right, I'll talk to you all later.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric, for joining us today. So any other issues we need to talk about related to NSTA?
Let's make sure we keep the thoughts of 2020 moving along so that we have a good package of things put together, and that is it is a frustratingly long lead time for NSTA of almost
Aren't the abstracts due the 15th of April?
That's typically the case. I have not looked at this year to see if it's any
I'm pretty sure it's the 15th because I'm trying to get one in. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't have long.
Yeah, that's the day
Get
after
off
the conference
write
ends.
an abstract.
Yeah, it's brutal and painful.
Right.
Yeah.
So Brad, I see you put in that the one workshop is $825 for the exhibitor workshops. And the nice thing about those, not the price, but is that you assured that you're going to get a slot, and the lead time is a lot less. But it's $825. So that may not be a great asset, but I think it should be part of our NSTA planning for those who can. Well, yeah. All right, Wendy. Thank you, because all my focus is about getting to NSTA, not
Yeah,
about
no,
proposing sessions for the next one.
I know.
Wow. All right. That's something we'll have to, as we socialize this strategy and, in getting people in the Clean Network to look at that, we should probably also socialize the submitting of sessions for that.
I can look at the schedule. Do we want to see if there's like another open date to have another discussion around this before that April on the call?
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about that is the slot is already protected in our time, so semi-protected.
Exactly.
Yeah. Katie, I think it would be if you gave us maybe not next week, but the week after. I don't know if that works. I'm not looking at that.
Actually, yeah, the 26th there.
Because next week is the AGU coordination, right?
Yeah.
So I think that feels right. So between now and then, we should be able to put some things together.
Are you able to be on the call then if I put you in as sort of the presenter for that?
Don or others,
Yeah. Totally. Don, are you around?
What's the date we're talking about?
March 26th.
Let me see.
I can't
He is
make
the 26th.
I can't make that one, but I'll engage in any way offline.
Okay.
Yeah, I can be on the 26th.
As can I. But I just I like moving things around.
Right.
Yep. I'm wondering though if we could maybe even fold it into next week. I think the proposal for the AGU discussion is really going to be let's come up with 3 or 4 very strong session proposals, and it's going to be not 10 or 12 like we've done in the past. And then we wouldn't, because then it's 3 weeks in a row talking about meetings, which might be less interesting to the community.
That's a good point.
We can piggyback on next week without any trouble.
I can make that one.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
I'm facilitating, and Frank, we can co-facilitate. I can take AGU and you can do NSTA, and then that might be just also nice to keep us on track. I think we can talk about this community can talk for hours about any topic.
What are you saying?
I'm including myself, so.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we will do next week instead of the 26th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Great. That feels right. So Katie, you and I can start working on that. And we'll just make sure that the people who are not clean members are aware.
Yeah.
Anybody on this? Wendy, are you still on the call?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've ever had coordinated presence of Clean at AMS. What do you think about that? And I don't know what your deadlines are for AMS. I never go to AMS.
Talking about the AMS annual meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be a terrific idea. And I don't know if this community is as aware of it as you will be soon, but the AMS at the beginning of the 2020 meeting, we will begin awarding the first AMS certified teachers, which means these are teachers that have moved through professional development opportunities and are actively engaged in, they can demonstrate that they're using lesson plans in weather, ocean, and climate science. And so the very first teachers will be being awarded that, which means over time we anticipate participation of teachers in the AMS annual meeting to grow. They haven't typically been a very big community there, but we really hope to grow that. which means reaching out into the public instead of just talking to the atmospheric and related scientists should be easier and easier to do through the AMS annual meeting over time too. So I'm more than happy to connect you to the AMS exhibits program and meeting team. I don't know if I'm sure the 2020 meeting plans are up because it's our centennial, so it'd be a great time to have an extra big presence and participation from Clean to celebrate that as well.
Do you guys do a gift workshop at AMS?
We do not. We used to have a teacher workshop that was not branded under that name, and after about almost a decade run, the sponsorship for that became impossible to acquire because the sponsoring companies wanted to see different kinds of benefits coming out of it. So we reimagined teacher engagement in the AMS annual meeting, and the first time we did it in a whole new way was this last year, where a team of teachers had people to meet with and was shepherded around the meeting, actually engaging of the business of the meeting and going to the science talks and having offline support sessions about the challenges they're facing in the classroom and sharing of resources. And we expect that program to lay the foundation for how we will engage more teachers in the future. But having them all off doing their own thing ended up being a model that just wasn't working anymore. So we're integrating them into the whole annual meeting.
Well, you're considering doing a gift workshop for your centennial. We should talk. See, I'm not saying you would. I'm just saying maybe that would be something to pitch.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
And Wendy, where is the 2020 meeting?
Boston.
Did you say Austin?
Boston.
Oh, Boston. Boston. Oh.
Everybody's in Boston
in January. What could go wrong? We did not apply climatology. We just wanted to invite everybody home.
Well, hopefully, winter seems to be in the East Coast getting later and later, and February seems to be what January used to be. So maybe you're lucky.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Hopefully, we don't have a government shutdown as well.
Yeah, heaven forbid we could do without that again.
Well, that's why I wasn't there this year. So I love Anna. I love the idea of us also exploring that route as well. So why don't we bring that up in the context of just like and Wendy, if you could just kind of have the big items about planning sessions and workshops and anything timeline related to AMS next week available, that would be really useful for us in our wider planning.
You bet. There was actually a social media push that went around the internet yesterday and the day before about the people who propose sessions outside of our science technical advisory committee approach to planning agendas. People don't realize AMS does accommodate that, but that call for proposing sessions at the next AMS annual is open right now.
Yeah, and I think it's also April sometime that closes, right? I was looking it up the other day. Wendy, do you know?
I didn't memorize the date because I don't have to propose sessions.
One thing I can say about AMS though is there has been a renewed interest on the education side of AMS, where the program people to focus here, and I think that there's a complementary approach. Sorry for the dog.
Did you mute yourself, Frank?
I did because my dog was barking. And he's growling now. He sees a dog across the street. So on that note, it sounds like we've got an agenda going. Katie, you and I are going to work on some things. I really appreciate everybody's time. I'm trying to speed this up so my dog doesn't go bonkos. And look forward to talking with you all next week. I think that's probably a good place to end our weekly call. Any other last items, or is that good?
Did we get down everybody who's interested in NSTA Boston 2020, or is the chat reserved so we have that record?
I think I can reserve the chat, and if not, I'll copy down the people who expressed interest for that before I close it. Thanks, Don.
Yep.
Thank you, Katie.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yep. I see Jessica Bean wants to be in that group. Thank you, Katie. Thanks,
Yep.
everyone.
Yep. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, this is Katie. Hey, how's it going? Yep. Nope, totally fine. Well, I only just started last year, so like had you done it any time before that, it would have not been me, so yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I don't take offense at all.